Let me tell you a story that sounds almost made up, but it's absolutely real, everybody. But first, I want to say, hey everyone, my name's Kimberly. Welcome to my channel. And if you're new, consider subscribing. Now let's begin our true story about the blue people of Kentucky. That's right, I said it. The blue is in skin color. They're blue. People of Kentucky. So let's get started with this story. Now, everyone deep in the hills of eastern Kentucky, along a quiet place called Troublesome Creek, there once lived a family unlike no other. Any other people they knowed of, everyone whispered about them. Their neighbors stared at them. Children pointed at them. And, people just didn't accept them. Everyone called them the blue people. The story begins early in the 1800s with a man named Martin Fugate. He was a French orphan who settled in the Appalachian Mountains. He fell in love with a local girl. The woman's name was Elizabeth Smith, and they built a life together in these remote hills of Kentucky. But what they did not know, that they both carried a rare genetic gene. But when they have kids, they'll figure it out, that they carry this rare genetic gene. And you all got to remember, this is the 1800s. So medically, things wasn't like they are today. So when Martin and Elizabeth started having children together, when they was born, some of them had skin with a notable blue tint. Not purple, not bruised, blue. Almost like the color described like a stormy sky, as I was told and read. In those isolated mountains, families didn't travel much. Communities were very small. People married within the same circle. Yes, they was inbred. And over generations, that rare gene kept getting passed down. Back then, in the hills and hollers of Kentucky, people just didn't travel much back then at all. People didn't have transportation, everyone, like they do today. So there wasn't very many people to marry back then. So they married within the same family, the same circle. It's just something, that happened. And we shouldn't judge or anything. But those hollers and hills, people just did not get out. They was kind of scared to go places. When you're secluded back then, no roads hardly to travel, things like that. There wasn't a lot of other people around, so they just married within their own family. Everyone, I'm going to put up the condition's name because I can't even pronounce it. But the name of it will be on the screen. The condition they had to cause them to be the blue family, to have the blue tint to their skin. The condition, it affects the blood's ability to carry oxygen properly. Instead of bright red, oxygen-rich blood, theirs carried more of a something called Methemoglobinemia, which can give a skin a blue and slate color appearance. That's crazy. But here's the part that makes it even more incredible. Most of them were healthy. They worked, they raised families, they lived a normal Appalachian lives just with blue skin for many generations here in Kentucky. But you know what? Not everyone in the family had blue skin either. There would be some with the blue skin and then some that didn't have it. Now, here is where the story really takes a big turn. For generations, the Blue family lived quietly in the hills of eastern Kentucky. People talked, some stared, some thought. It was just mountain folklore, that they wouldn't like real people or anything. But in 1960s, a doctor heard the rumors. His name was Madison Cowan. Most people might have laughed it off. Blue people, haha, yeah, right. But not him. Dr. Cowan was a blood specialist. And something about the story just didn't sound like a myth. It sounded medical to, the doctor. So he went looking for the family. And imagine that moment, driving, through the hills of eastern Kentucky, the winding Appalachian roads, climbing up and down in the hills. He was probably knocking on the doors of different houses, searching for the Blue family. And, whispered about for over 100 years, people talking about this Blue family and the doctors asking about them. Some people might have thought they was folklore, but he wanted to meet them. They were exactly as described, though, when he found them. Their skin wasn't bruised, wasn't like bruised or anything like mine is right here. It wasn't like paint or trick or light. It was a blue color. And Dr. Carlin ran tests and made an incredible discovery. The family had a rare inherited blood condition. And, with that blood condition I was telling you about a minute ago, something affects how the oxygen moves through the, blood. So what the doctor did, then he tried something bold. He gave them a dose of methylene blue. And right before his eyes, their skin slowly began to change. The blue faded. Pink returned to their skin where the blue was at. It was once of those moments in medicine that feels almost unreal. For the first time in generations, the mystery of the Blue people wasn't a folklore. It was science. And did you know the last blue person, and I won't give out a name or anything because I feel like that should be left private since they're still living. But the last blue person in that family, they gave the medicine to, and they don't have really no blue to them to this day. They say maybe when they get a little angry or something like that, or stressed, I think, that their skin, like around their nails, I think, or something, might turn a little blue color. But with this modern medicine from this doctor, finding that cure for the family, they don't have to worry about this condition no longer. Ain't that amazing, everybody? And yes, look it up if you don't believe me. This is the Blue family of Kentucky. And this, my friends, is the rest of the story on the Blue Family of Kentucky. Hope everyone has a wonderful night.